How many of you tried a mock scrape out there? You know, we've been talking about these mock vine scrapes for many years, been using them for many years, and they really work. There's a lot of imitations with different kind of materials. I've even seen some that you can buy in the store, but nothing beats a good old-fashioned natural vertical licking branch. Now, around here we like vines. Up north you could use jack pines. Oak branches work really well. Think of something that a buck would typically rub anyways, and something that lasts. For example, poplar. We have all that back here, or aspen, or whatever you want to call it. It's growing really well. Bucks love to rub it, but it's a very fragile tree. It decomposes quickly. You can see this aspen right here that was cut for regeneration. We have aspen growing all over here. You can even see where they move through here. All the aspen leaves are nipped off. That's why we cut it, so we can get that browse. It's one of the most important wildlife tree varieties that you can have. But it decomposes, so even if bucks like to rub it, we hang it, it doesn't last very long. A vine lasts for a very long time. There's a lot of rigidity to it, and it stretches a little bit, can move around, very stiff, hard to break, and so it lasts forever. But coming to this video, how many of these should you have on your land? You know, they work really well, but like anything, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. And so I think it's really critical that you use balance. For example, water holes. We might have 3 to 4 water holes on a 40-acre parcel if there's extreme elevation change, 200 to 400 feet in elevation or more, meaning you could have a couple high, a couple low, if there's no other water on the property. A lot of ifs there. On 200 acres, that doesn't mean that we have 20. In fact, on 200 acres, you might have 6 or 7 if there's dry area, and if you have those elevation changes, then you can fit more on. When it comes to these licking branches, if we had 5 around this area, then which one does a buck go to? He's going to key on one. We want it right on his deer trail. And so we don't want him to leave his scent somewhere else that doesn't take him by that ladder stand that's right behind Dylan. That's one of our favorite stand locations. We love sitting there. And so I want a mock scrape, when you think about number, 1 at every stand location. No more, no less. If I have a natural scrape down there that's on a side trail where it could actually take deer away from my stand location, then I want to get rid of it. I don't want them to cross down there at 50 yards and I can't get a shot with a bow. I want it right here at this stand location. Something we can come back in here. We know that they're going to key on that. And what's really cool about that is they don't know that when they come in, they're looking right at that vine scrape. They don't notice the camera on a tree, and they don't notice us in the tree stand. It's really, they're focused on that, and that's about it. So there's a lot of reasons to have one, but when it comes to number, you really want about 1 per stand location, 1 per blind location. We even have some that where we'll have a redneck blind, we're looking at a small hunting plot or a ladder stand or a hang-on stand, and we have that mock vine scrape tree that we put out we use red cedars. You could use oak, something else, but you hang a scrape from it, and it's meant to actually bring those deer into a bow position and not have mega scrape again 60 yards away on the outside of the plot. I want them right there. If you make a bunch more scrapes all the way around that plot, it doesn't attract the deer to that plot more. That buck should have a lot more reasons to get to that plot, food, bedding, cover, cruising related, than just mock scrapes. If you have to have the mock scrape to get them to that food plot, then you're missing a piece of everything that food plot should be a part of. And that mock scrape itself is just setting up that shot. So around here, if we had trails over there, trails over here coming through this, then it's going to center those deer around that one trail, and we get a shot at them with a mock scrape. Now you can see right here, these are about waist high. We put them in a firm, flat area. We make this like this, but what's interesting, when they come in here, typically they're not pawing at the ground unless it's a rut. So they're not taking their hooves and actually making a scrape. They're leaving their preorbital gland scent on this vine. This vine is very porous, it holds that. Again, it's natural. It's something they can naturally smell. and it's in the woods. Now I see a lot of people out there using ropes. Ropes were what kind of brought me to use this back in the day, because a rope doesn't work all the time. If a scrape is going to work, this works 100% of the time. Now if it's a bad area, if you don't create it right, well then it's not going to be used. I like to say that a mock scrape rope 60% of the time works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Is that how it goes, Dylan?
Sure.
So bottom line is, I'd go to properties, I've seen thousands of rope scrapes, and this is going back 20 years, and they weren't being used. And so there's a commonality with that. They're just not natural. A lot of times I'd see them up north. There's places they work, but they don't work the best. What's always best is something natural. It's not something you buy in the store. When it comes to mock scrapes, trust me, if we could sell something that had to do with mock scrapes, we'd sell it. If you start looking up mock vine scrapes and best mock scrape scent, all my videos would come to the top. We could sell something from those videos pretty easily. But bottom line is, this is what works the best, something natural. That doesn't mean you need to overdo it and have dozens of them all around your property. Instead, we have one at every stand location. We use something natural that deer like to rub in the area. It's on a trail. You can see right there behind me. We didn't come in here and shear these off. All these aspen shoots are all nipped off coming through here. And they're nipped off because deer constantly travel through this. You can see all the way back into here. And then you see off to the side where a lot of this aspen is growing. But on these trails where they're using a lot, it's all nipped down. So thousands of shoots per acre, 7,000 shoots. When they come through this trail, they eat it, and that's why we have the mock scrape right there, right in front of the stand location. Now what we're also doing is, every time that we have a stand location, we're looking for mock scrape location and a spot to hang a camera. So we have a camera right back here. And it doesn't mean that we use a camera at every stand location. It just means that we have the opportunity to. That's a less than ideal tree over there, but we have the camera up high within a bunch of brush. They never look at it that way. We have a solar panel up even higher, and that's when we can change the batteries on and let it run for the entire season very easily. This is actually the mock scrape I had Bo on in the morning, and I shot him that evening about 250 yards from here. It's funny because of the debate about cell cameras, and yeah, I knew Bo hangs out here anyways. We see him back here. We've seen him hunting. We've seen him down this line hunting. So you already know he's back here. You're trying to make good decisions on where to hunt. This stand, I couldn't hunt with the wind. The next stand, he could get behind me, getting out if he was heading that way. So then that left the third location a couple hundred yards from here. So if I'd been back here, I might have spooked him. I might have spooked him at the other one. So just because you get a picture of a deer doesn't mean in any way you're going to shoot him that night. It's not always that easy. It sounds easy, it's not. We like using them, of course, all summer just to get a snapshot of everything that's going on. And when we put them on mock scrapes during the summertime, we know that if a buck is coming through this trail, and we get a picture of him on here during the summer, even if it's 10 pictures throughout the entire summer, we know he's going to be back during the fall, most likely during daylight. So again, number of mock scrapes on your land, one for every tree stand or blind. Of course, try to put them in bow shot if you're a bow hunter, because you don't want to lead them away from you. More than one is not a good thing. And while something natural like this in your area works 100% of the time, something like a rope or something unnatural, something you buy, might work 60% of the time, every time. But that's not good enough for me. I really want to have something natural so that I can count on that being used 365, and that's what we get to see out in these locations. They're a real joy to see and use, and I hope you've taken advantage of them. So many of my followers have, and people that subscribe to this channel. We show this in every video. We show trail cam footage and scrape footage, almost every video, because it's a big part of what we like to watch and how we get to know our deer in the area in a very enjoyable process. So you should try mock scrapes this year. Follow these steps and ingredients and you'll be successful with them 100% of the time.